is history? When we think in those terms, then we see there is a sea of information behind us. बहुत कुछ आ जाता है हमारे माइंड में that this is history, that is history. But history means what has happened in the past. Now past should be seen in terms of relevance. जो भी relevant है, that will be coming in the past. Relevant for society, relevant for country, relevant for the whole world. So it is in this context past has to be seen. Because past helps us to understand our present circumstances, our present difficulties. That is why we have to understand and see how our ancestors have fought those times, how they have handled those circumstances or situations. That is why we need to see that we must study past, but in a relevant and rational manner. Now for India, it becomes very, very relevant because India is a pluralistic society. Indian history is not made up by just one dynasty, one culture or one religion or one kingship. It is a multitude of so many ideas. That is why Indian history is a diverse history and it requires so many dimensions to understand it. But very important is to be seen is that we must have a careful and analytical judgment of our history. Not just that whatever you have heard, you just say कि भाई past में ऐसा था. जो भी evils हैं, they must be left out and good practices should be taken up from the past. Now, how to justify whatever is there in the past? For that we have to see evidences. For example, present times you have printed books. Now when we go back from printed books, you have paper. Now when you go back from the paper, then you have, you can say ancient books in the form of say palm leaves or birch bark, or you can say engravings on stone or on metals, or even say for example on pottery. Paper you can say on clothes it must also be there, but clothes is a perishable item, it must have been destroyed in so many cases. So that is how evidences are very, very important. In these cases, when we say that we have the ancient books with us, जिनसे हमें पता लगता है whatever happened in the past, they are called manuscripts. That is why original manuscripts are very important because through them we know कि हुआ क्या था. Now manuscripts में भी language होगी. Now there are different languages. Many languages are there which we have used in the ancient times, लेकिन आज we are not using them. I would request you to write in the comment box, name 2 languages which were there in the ancient times, but you are not using them now. Don't say Sanskrit, because Sanskrit we are using in the present times also, and Government of India and obviously society is also promoting it. Lekin, there may be things before writing was there. So in that context comes the role of pottery, seals, sealings, or different kind of artifacts, toys, and so much. There can be some kind of symbols on them. So for example in Harappan civilization, when we say Harappan culture or Harappan civilization, what we say, वहाँ पर writing है, there is writing, but it is not deciphered. अब तक पता नहीं चला है what it means. That is why it becomes part of archaeology. So a study of past in a scientific way through evidences is archaeology. Because in archaeology you have to have an evidence. आप ये नहीं कह सकते that something is in the air or some kind of folk song or folk dance is there, it is part of archaeology. So archaeological evidences will look for some kind of tangibility. That is why classical languages, when we say in India, then there are so many languages were there in the past. But those languages which have got literature in ancient times, they will qualify for classical languages. For example, Tamil language. So in India, there are so many areas, as we were saying. For example, your Ganges Plains, Northwest India, Indian Peninsular India, even Northeast India. Whole India is full of history, but each history is having its own dimensions, each having its own different period and also its own qualifications. Most importantly, there are so many common points also which are there between different parts of India. That is what links Indian history, and that is why we say study of history is very, very important for understanding present and also to appreciate our past. Let's do that in as much rational and scientific manner as possible. You are welcome for your doubts, and also do not forget to like, share and comment for your future. Thank you very much.